Thousands of people had come to watch a superstar sing. Instead, they ended up watching a janitor change everything with a single note. Under the bright afternoon sky, the outdoor venue looked like a dream. Blinding lights, giant speakers, cameras everywhere. The crowd buzzed with excitement, ready for another glamorous concert. But in the middle of all that shine stood someone no one was supposed to notice, a janitor. Faded blue uniform, rough, tired hands. The kind of person people walk past every day without really seeing. He moved quietly along the edge of the stage, sweeping, wiping, picking up trash. He'd been there since morning, making sure every seat, every aisle, every corner was perfect for people who didn't even know he existed. On the other side of the stage stood her, a world-famous singer, beloved, admired, followed by millions. Her smile lit up cameras, but in person, it felt colder, sharper. She was surrounded by assistants, stylists, and flashing lights as she prepared for her performance. And then, she noticed him. The janitor, silent, calm, focused only on his work. For some reason, his quiet presence irritated her. In a moment meant to impress the crowd, she decided to make him part of the show. Before we go further, if you believe every person has hidden value, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and dignity for all, pause for a moment. Like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Valley. Your support helps stories like this reach more hearts. She raised her mic, turned to the audience, and with a playful grin that didn't quite reach her eyes, she pointed at him. "Let's have some fun," she said. She called the janitor up to the stage. The crowd laughed, clapped, and whistled. To them, it was lighthearted entertainment. A silly moment before the real show. To him, it felt like a trap. His chest tightened. He hadn't asked for attention. He'd built his whole life on staying in the background, doing his work, and not being a problem. But now, under the brutal afternoon sun, thousands of eyes locked on him. He walked slowly onto the stage. His uniform looked even older under the lights. His hands trembled. The noise of the crowd blurred into a buzzing cloud. Faces melted into one giant staring wall. The singer stood confidently beside him, certain this would be her moment to shine even brighter. In her mind, this was a joke. A harmless game. A way to show off. The idea that this janitor could be anything more than a prop never even crossed her mind. What she didn't know was this. Long before he held a broom, he held on to music. As a child, as a teenager, even as a young man working odd jobs, he would hum while he worked, softly sing during breaks, and let melodies comfort him when life felt too heavy. Music was his secret place, his private dream. But dreams cost money, rent, bills, family, life. So he chose survival. The stage disappeared. The microphone stayed a fantasy. And the music? It stayed locked inside his chest, humming quietly beneath years of exhaustion. Now, standing in front of thousands, that old buried dream woke up. The band started playing. A soft, familiar melody filled the air. His first instinct was fear. He could feel it crawling up his throat, trying to choke his voice. Memories flashed. Early mornings, late nights, empty pockets, people talking over him as if he wasn't there. He thought, maybe I should just mess up. They'll laugh a little and forget me. Just get this over with. He could give them what they expected. An awkward, shaky, embarrassing performance that proved he didn't belong on that stage. But then, something inside him shifted. The crowd's noise faded away. The lights blurred. The superstar next to him disappeared from his mind. All that remained was the music. He closed his eyes, and he sang. The first note wasn't loud, but it was clean, honest, pure. It carried something you can't buy. A lifetime of held-back tears, swallowed pride, and quietly endured struggle. The laughter in the crowd faded. Confused faces replaced amused ones. Then he reached the next line. His voice grew stronger, richer. It didn't just float over the audience, it moved through them. Every note carried years of pain and silent hope. Years of being invisible. Years of wanting more but settling for less. People felt it before they even understood it. The superstar's confident smile slowly froze. Her eyes widened, just a little at first, then completely. This was not the shaky, off-key joke she'd planned. The janitor's voice climbed higher, effortlessly, hitting notes that made some trained singers struggle. He didn't just sing the melody, he made it bleed, heal, and rise all at once. The afternoon sunlight seemed to soften. A hush spread through the crowd. Some people covered their mouths. Some felt goosebumps rush down their arms. Others blinked rapidly, trying to hold back tears they didn't expect. He sang like a man who had nothing left to hide, nothing left to prove, and everything left to give. Each breath told a story. Each note broke the invisible wall between important and unimportant people. For the first time that day, the crowd wasn't watching for entertainment. They were witnessing something real. By the time he reached the final line, the entire venue was silent. No phones waving, no casual chatter, no staged reactions, just thousands of people listening. The last note hung in the air, trembling with emotion. Then it faded. For a heartbeat, nothing moved. And then the arena exploded. Applause hit like a wave. Not the forced, polite kind people give because they're supposed to, but the wild, genuine kind that comes from the soul. People stood up from their seats. Some shouted. Some cried openly. Some just clapped as hard as they could, trying to say with their hands what their words couldn't. The janitor opened his eyes, breathing hard. He looked stunned, almost afraid to believe this was for him. All his life, people only noticed his work. Now, they were finally noticing him. The famous singer stood a few feet away, frozen in place. Her plan to humiliate him had done something very different. It humbled her. In front of everyone, the spotlight quietly shifted. Not just on the stage, but inside every heart in that crowd. This wasn't just about who sang better. This was about what we choose to see and what we choose to ignore. After that day, everything changed. Strangers came up to him. They asked his name. They wanted to know his story. Opportunities appeared that he never imagined would come his way. Auditions, collaborations, interviews. But the most important change didn't happen outside. It happened inside him. He realized something powerful. His worth was never in his uniform, never in his job title, never in the way people looked at him. His value had always been there, quiet, patient, waiting for him to believe in it enough to let it out. As the sun dipped lower in the sky and the crowd slowly began to leave, they carried something with them. Most would forget the exact lyrics he sang. They might even forget his name, but they would not forget the feeling. They had seen what happens when power is used to belittle and how quickly that power can be turned upside down. They had watched a nobody walk onto a stage and remind everyone what being human really means. If this story is touching your heart right now, if it reminds you of someone who's overlooked, or of a dream you've buried inside yourself, please take a moment to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Kindness Valley. Your engagement helps stories like this reach the people who need them most. And before this story ends, we have a special request for you. Comment below the words, "Hidden Voices Matter." Write it if you believe every person deserves respect, dignity, and a chance to be heard, no matter what they wear, where they work, or how the world labels them. That day, the janitor walked off the same stage he had cleaned for years. The same daylight shone on his shoulders. The same uniform hung on his back. But he was no longer invisible. And for everyone who watched, the real lesson wasn't about music at all. It was about listening. Truly listening to the quiet people, the background workers, the ones we overlook. Because sometimes the most powerful notes don't come from the biggest stars. They come from the hearts we never thought to hear.